Hey everyone, it is Gary and I am here to show you the eDirectGlass customer engagement module. This is a module that is actually just a couple lines of code that you will plug into your website. And once you plug that in, it will allow customers 24/7 to come to your website and be able to get their own quote and schedule their own job. The other thing that the customer engagement module does is it also allows your existing customers, especially those fleets and dealerships and whatnot, to also come to your site, plug in their customer code, and actually book their own jobs. So that you don't have to worry about answering the phone or going back and forth in email. It's a very convenient way. So right now what I'm showing you on the screen is what the plugin looks like. And this is the default setup for the plugin. And after you configure a few things, which we'll do later on, you'll see how this actually works. But the customer basically starts off with where their glass is damaged or what their need is. By selecting it, then it will get their information. So let me just put this in, and I'll say this is me, provide my phone number and my email address. So the reason why we are collecting this information up front is kind of twofold. So the first is obviously instead of just giving quotes out blindly, you want to gather some information. But more important is once the customer puts some information in right now, this is immediately going to show up in either your eDirectGlass Total Shop Management account, or if you're a GlassPartMatch user with this add-on, you will also see that in your GlassPartMatch account. Then once they provide the vehicle information, let's say something happens, like they started this, but then they left it, you'll always at least have contact information to contact them back and see if you can help them with their needs. So that's why we do gather this up front. Now, if they are going to file an insurance claim, they can check that box. They're presented with a list of insurance companies they can choose from. And then if they have a promo code, so let's say you're doing advertising, you can set up different pricing profiles and provide those promo codes, so then that way they're getting, let's say, 25% off or whatever your promotion is. So you also have that ability. So right now, this is just plain Jane, so to speak. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on next. So now it presents me with tell us about your vehicle. So the customer can either enter their license plate, state, or VIN, or they can manually build their vehicle. So depending on what they have or they don't have, they have some options here. So let's just say I don't know my VIN and I also don't know what my license plate is. So I'm just going to go ahead and manually build this, let's say. So I have a 2013 Audi A6 four-door sedan. So now the system will automatically go out and it's going to price it and give us a online estimate here. So what this has done is a few things behind the scenes. It now created the record along with the contact information, and it set up the job. So from this standpoint, I'm just going to stop right here. Now you as the shop, let's say the customer isn't going to click on the schedule button or they're not doing anything. In your GlassPartMatch or Total Shop management account, if you click on the search jobs and you click on assignments, you will see that you have a job waiting. So what this has done is it's actually now put that in your system so that you can see it. Now, before I actually click on the record, there is one other thing that just happened as well, is I also just got an email sent to me since I am the responsible party in my shop. I got this email, a request for estimate is available for your review. Please log into your eDirectGlass account, review this assignment number, and here's the vehicle and the owner. So you do get that email notification. So if you're not actively in the system looking for assignments coming in, at least you're being notified that way. So I'm going to go ahead now and pull up this record. And this now allows me to see all the information that the customer put in. So far, we know who they are. We also have their telephone number. And because the telephone number they provided is highlighted in green, that means it's also a text message or SMS message enabled phone. So that means you can text them and message them back and forth if you had to. The other thing too, if I click on the vehicle tab that we'll see here, we get to see their vehicle information. So there it is, it's an Audi. And then when we click on the invoice button, we see that it went ahead and grabbed the invoice and then the pricing information based off of the web quote pricing profile. So right now, We were able to provide a quote. We got the customer information, at least who they are. So if they stop right now, they do not click on the schedule button from your website, you do have a means to call them back or contact them, like you saw, either email or SMS. So now if I go ahead and I'm the customer and I click on the schedule button, what this is going to allow me to do now is actually schedule the job. So it automatically knows who I am. Remember, I put that information as the customer up front. So it's going to ask me where would I like the job to be done, or at least get the address information. So as I start typing my address, I can go ahead and click that, select it. I can provide any of the additional information here. I do want the work to be performed at the same address. I'll click on next. So now it allows me to choose my availability. So let's say I am available this Friday and I'd like it to be in the afternoon, and I can place some instructions here. Please call me to discuss access to vehicle. So the customer can even put notes or whatever, or no notes at all. So I'm going to go ahead and click on schedule the appointment. So now that I've done that, we're done. So the friendly message comes up. Two things are going to happen though. So behind the scenes, we are getting an email as the customer. First of all, thanking us for scheduling the job. And then the other one is the system sends an email to the shop saying, hey, you've got a new scheduled job. Now back in your GlassPartMatch account or your eDirectGlass account, if we now come in and see that same assignment, that has now gone from red to yellow. So kind of the scale here when we're looking at this is yellow means it's an open web quote, red means it's abandoned. So that's kind of how that works, so that when you're visually looking at all of your assignments on the screen, red ones are ones that you should probably contact right away, and yellow ones mean you need to review them and put them into a work order process, assign them to a technician, etc. So I'm going to go ahead back to that record. Let's actually just walk through that. So now that I have a job, if you are an eDirectGlass subscriber or you have the point of sale add-on for your GlassPartMatch account, you can actually now convert this through to a quote to a work order, add a technician, schedule it, communicate with the customer, etc. If you're a GlassPartMatch user and you have not added those on, this is basically where it stops for you. You can manage, at least here, the job. If you have another point of sale system, you're going to have to copy and paste that data over. There's no real method for us to push it to other point of sale systems. You're kind of stuck here. The beauty is though, you can select the add-on for your GlassPartMatch account that turns GlassPartMatch into a point of sale for you if you wanted to manage the jobs and invoice them in here and etc. So with that being said, I am an eDirectGlass customer. So I'm going to go ahead to the invoice screen here, take a look at this, make sure everything's good. I'm going to go ahead and convert this to a quote. So now I'm going to call the customer up. I'm going to verify their information, just verify one more time the schedule date that they selected, which looks like it is for Friday. We're looking at the weather forecast here. That's great. The time frame is in the afternoon. So let's say I get the customer on the phone. They explain some things to me. I'm like, great. So you can see here they have, please call me to discuss access to the vehicle. So we do. Let's say they want 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we'll go ahead and put that in there. And they indicate there's a gate code. So I'll punch that in here, gate code 2021. And right now I don't know who I want to schedule it for, but I'll just go ahead and save those. And I'll go ahead and convert this to a work order status. So now it is now memorialized as a work order, and it's sitting in there for somebody in my office who does the booking for the technician. So with that said and done, now the customer gets an email. And that email, so that comes to me. This is to remind you of a schedule. You have scheduled your vehicle for glass repair replacement. Someone from the shop may call and verify you. Thank you for contacting blah 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 in shop. So that is one of the emails that obviously goes to the customers. All right, so now that we saw how that process works. Let's go ahead and show how we would actually have our existing customers put in a quote. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that in your shop details in your GlassPartMatch account or your eDirectGlass account that you do have a few things set up. So one is enable the web quote customer. So when you answer yes to this, what you're doing is you're setting up the ability for the main screen of your web plugin to display a message box. And let me show you what I mean by that. So when I just save that, I'm just going to refresh my web page. So instead of it coming up originally and just asking me where the damage is at or what glass component I want, now it's asking me, am I a new or an existing customer? So new customers, when they click on that, you get that familiar look up here when that happens. And obviously, if I'm an existing customer, I'm going to click on that. So now it asks me for my customer ID. So as you plug in your customers into eDirectGlass, you're able to give them their customer ID from their contact record. So what you'll want to do is go to your customer relationship management inside of eDirectGlass, type in the company name, and it is Paul's Panel Truck in this case. So I'll go ahead and select it. So right here, the system ID number is their account number. This is what you would email to them. And that's what you would give them so that they have access via your web portal to book their own jobs. So now I say find my account. So it comes up and says, is this the account you want to use? Yep, that's me. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So now as I go through this process, I can go ahead, put in the vehicles that I want managed. So I actually have a license plate for this one. I'll go ahead and say yes. So maybe I'm a fleet, a body shop, dealership, whatever the case is. I'll go ahead and put that in. The system, once again, gets all the vehicle information, and now, boom, it's done. I can click on the schedule button. It automatically fills in all my contact information as the customer. I click on next, and I want this done tomorrow morning. I need it right away. I schedule the appointment. Once again, everything's done. I come back into my eDirectGlass account. I come back up here to look for jobs. I come into assignments. I see that I have that one new assignment. Lo and behold, here's the Paul's Panel Truck. Now, a couple things about this. The pricing for Paul's Panel Truck is actually based off of the contact records pricing profile that's set up. And what I mean by that is if I come back to CRM and I look up Paul's Panel Truck, we will see that Paul's Panel Truck is set up for Migrant, Cost Plus, Live, and the pricing profile when we're calling it Hertz pricing. So we're saying that they fall under just this category. So this allows anytime that whether you're in eDirectGlass or the customer is self-booking and scheduling the job, that their pricing profile that you've assigned to them, so their special pricing, whatever their arrangements are actually being applied. So that's a very handy feature to have in that now you can reduce the number of calls and emails and things that go back and forth and simply offer the solution to your customers to book in real time. The shops that use this right now, they immediately see a 40% reduction in the volume of calls that come from their fleet customers, allowing them to pay attention to more of their newer customers they're calling up for the first time, and especially those that have cash or insurance jobs that have needs outside of that type of commercial realm, if you will. So it's really a game changer for your business to add this type of module on for your existing customers, and it gives them that latitude, if you will, to be able to do certain things on their own around the clock. Your business may be open from 8 to 5, but let's just say dealers or fleets, their vehicles may be 24/7. You have fleet managers or representatives that need to book a job at 9 o'clock at night, 4 o'clock in the morning. They have that capability in the system. Now, there's a few other things with regards to the web quote setup that you will need to pay attention to, and one of those is your pricing profiles. So by default, when we first give you we configure your customer engagement plugin, we actually set up a basic pricing profile for you, and it is up to you to come in and then change that after the fact. So in this case here, my daily web pricing is set to Cost Plus. It's off of Migrant. You can see web quote module is checked off here, and then I have my Cost Plus markup, and you can see some additional information in here. So I have set that up by default just to be my basic one. So that means regular people that come to the site and just go through the regular quote process, this is what's going to be applied for their job. Now, let's say I have a promotion where I am maybe I have a coupon or I have different ads out there and I need different ones. I can create different pricing profiles. So let's just say I pick on this Pilkington one. I can set up a campaign. So let's say it's the fall flyer spooky cracks, and the discount code is spooky21. So that discount code can be used up front. So if you remember back during the when I was going through the setup process, I had that area for a discount code. So if I come back to that screen and say I'm a new customer, I select windshield, let's say, spooky21 would go in this box here. And that means that pricing profile, first of all, will apply, but also that pricing profile, remember when we set that up here, the spooky21 discount code, when you enter that, it uses this pricing profile, but it also marks this as part of the fall flyer spooky cracks campaign. So that allows me now in eDirectGlass or GlassPartMatch to track where my jobs come from. So I can see how is that campaign doing. So that flyer that was sent out or stuck to mailboxes or whatever my advertising is and the campaign I set up, I can now measure the metrics and see how well they are doing. Now there's another feature inside of eDirectGlass and GlassPartMatch called My Glass Claim. My Glass Claim allows you to engage your customer by getting information up front, such as payments and things of that nature. So when the service is actually enabled, that now allows you to gather that information directly from the customer. Now, My Glass Claim has its own portal that will display after the process occurs in two ways. One is during your web quote sequence at the end after they've scheduled it. Instead of that screen saying thank you for the job and whatnot, it actually takes them to a review of their job, allowing them to sign, and if you want, you can turn on the ability to collect payments. So a lot of shops these days, they're actually charging restocking fees, so they may not be collecting the full amount up front, but they are asking the customer to pay something considering the way glass shipments and whatnot are going right now. So there's a ability for you to plug that in and actually get the customer payment and also get the customers to sign the sales order acknowledging this is what the costs are, the time frames, etc. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that. So let's go back through that process right now. So I'm going to come in and just start from scratch. Well, let's just say I'm a new customer. So let me say new customer, and I'm going to do side glass. I'm going to do driver front door and 85258, and I'll just do me again. All right, so I'll go ahead and enter my vehicle. Let's just do that Audi again. Audi A6, sure. Let's do a 2014, give myself an upgrade. And now we'll go ahead and get the price. And now we'll go ahead and schedule the job. Perfect, and we'll say next. And we'll go ahead and say tomorrow afternoon. So now at this point, remember that other screen would pop up just saying, hey, thank you, have a great day. But now what we actually get is the My Glass Claim window that pops up in the system. So now we get to see basically a sales order. So it gives us instructions. Thank you for selecting us for your auto glass needs. This is who you are. This is the job. This is the door glass you're doing, the labor. Here's what the costs are. You've scheduled it. So now you can have them sign this. So when they actually go through this, you're getting their acknowledgement via signature. So if that's a requirement for the job to be done, they can always do it immediately or come back to it because they do get an email with that dispatched. So now we see the after we've signed it, the job comes back up. This signature is on file. You may now close the window. Thank you. So now at this point, the customer has signed the service agreement. whatever means that you had, if you required payment or whatever, those are all handled, and everything now is nicely back inside of eDirectGlass for you to take care of. So now when I just sign that, me as the customer, I get another email that shows up that says, thank you for choosing Shades Auto Glass. Attached is your copy of your signed service estimate for your review. If you have any questions, give us a call. So automatically right in here, I get a copy of my signed service order so that I have a copy of it and everything's here. So that's great. But also now back inside of your Total Shop Management system, when I come in and get that job, so I pull this up, here it is, the Audi A6. I come to this, now I have a copy of that as well inside of my attachment. So now me as the shop, I have this information right here at my fingertips, so I can pull that in. I have a copy of this, I can print it, do whatever I want, but it's always now attached to this record. You can also have your customers send you images. So if you're not quite sure if there's something with the part or there's something else that they bring up, they can actually send images directly to their record here in the system. There's a whole how-to on how that happens. It's very easy to do. It actually dispatches out as part of the email as well. But it's nice because you have that communication with your customers. Now, speaking about communication with your customers, remember when you see the fields that are green, I can click on messaging, and now I have like a canned message that says, thank you for selecting Shades Auto Glass. I send that. Let's go ahead and send that out not only as an email, but we'll also send it out as a text message. And we'll go ahead and send that. Boom. And now the message goes out. I get that via email. I also get that via text message. So you can see here in the chat window, just like you would on your mobile device or any other type of chat, that has been sent out. And if the customer replies, that's going to come back in to your eDirectGlass or your GlassPartMatch account, and you get an alert on that. So this is the customer engagement module by eDirectGlass. It works with your GlassPartMatch account or your eDirectGlass account. If you do need any assistance in setting this up, please follow the email and instructions. If you have any additional questions or would like a direct demonstration of this, please contact us as well. I thank you for watching this video. Thank you for using GlassPartMatch or eDirectGlass. Have a great day.